What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Infusion Breakdown Show. As always, it's your boy Joshua Freeman. To my left, I got Mr. Bryan Carey.
What's up?
To my right, I got Mr. Desmond Tillmon. How you guys doing today?
Great. Had a good week.
Good week.
Myself, I also started a new job.
Oh yeah, you did.
First week, yeah. Out in your side of the.
Huh?
Out of your side of town.
What, in Chesapeake?
Mm-hmm.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you snapped like your little geotag said Chesapeake.
Yeah.
I thought y'all were together.
Oh, no. I was at work. I just got off work.
Whenever I ain't going to ask you to disclose.
You still work the same schedule, like 8 to 5?
8 to 5. 8:35.
So basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
More or
You been
less.
good? So it's good? You like the job?
Love it.
Cool. You been good?
Fantastic.
All right. So we're going to get it started today. The first question, we got two questions. The first question is going to be, would things get better or worse if humans focus on what was going well rather than what was going wrong? So let us know. What do you think? Comment below, okay? I don't know who wants to take this first.
I guess I can start it off.
No, sorry.
Yeah. So, would things get better or worse if humans focus on what's going well rather than what's going wrong? I think this question is so simple to the point where you could just break it down to, is it better to be a pessimist or an optimist?
What's the answer?
I'm going to go with, the realistic me want to go with, what I'm saying? Let me go with the optimist. But not fucking with you. I really think it'd be better.
So it depends on your viewpoint, what you're saying.
No, I feel like anybody should just be an optimist. It adds a lot more value to your life. My bottle is 75% full instead of 25% empty. My cup of tea, 50% full instead of half empty. At least I know I got something to look forward to. But all jokes aside, I feel like I would be better. It's actually, similar to a conversation that we had before we started shooting, and it was kind of like
Today?
Yeah, kind of like the reward system thing almost. Mm-hmm. To where like if you're focusing more on the good, it gives you something to look forward to. Like if you're going through a hard time, instead of simply focusing on the hard time, take is it solace? Have some form of appreciation for what you have accomplished during the hard time, instead of letting the hard time necessarily define that situation. Because everybody's going to go through hard times. Some people aren't going to get out of their hard times, but they're going to have a lot of small victories that they overlook because they're just looking at the hard time in itself. And I feel like if you're looking at just the hard time in itself, it breeds that pessimistic, viewpoint towards life in general. If you have that pessimistic viewpoint towards life in general, that reflects on how you raise your kids. That reflects on how you greet your neighbor. That reflects on how you greet your coworker, your boss, your family members. So if you can literally just find one small victory out of the millions of things that are going wrong, it's a step in the right direction. Mm-hmm. It might not be the step you want it to be, but it's a step nevertheless. And I feel like that sets the tone for what you should move forward to moving on in life. Because if you could pass that train of thought down to your kids, and your kids pass that train of thought down to their kids, it breeds a whole new level of thinking. Mm-hmm. And kind of like, I can't speak on poverty in itself, but I feel like a lot of people who are stuck in poverty aren't necessarily like, their mind is what's captured, but their body is free per se. Like their mind frame that it's just a cycle that their kids are going to grow up and face the same stuff that they did. Mm-hmm. They don't realize that they possess the same bodies that we all possess, and we all have the opportunity to go out and accomplish new things. It's just that enslaved mentality to where like you just focus on that negative, like you feel like you're not worthy of the good that comes out of life when everybody's entitled to the same good. You just have to put forward a little bit of effort, and that little bit of effort could be you paying more attention to those small battles than whatever went wrong,
So you don't believe in privilege?
Of course, we all believe in privilege.
No, I was just being facetious.
We all believe in privilege,
But I agree with you. But I think where people go wrong with that mindset is that they get it confused that in the utility of being positive or looking for the good things, that you doing that is actually creating the good things, mm-hmm. which is not the case. It's just that when you're so focused on the negative things, you're ignoring that you have your head down. But when you have your head up looking for the positive things, you're actually able to take everything in and be more appreciative. So things are there, we're not creating them.
You know, and somebody that really has this like view down, and I just realized it now. But my son's mom, she has this view down to a T, because like she gives my son verbal praise for anything he does, like good. Like he could literally take a bite out of his food, and she's like flipping chairs, like yay, like giving him like the most praise in the world, because getting a kid to eat asparagus or getting a kid to eat broccoli, like that's a hard task. So you rewarding the kid for eating that stuff, it starts his brain starts churning. He knows he's doing something good, instead of like him not eating the broccoli and like, oh, you gonna eat this broccoli, like I'm gonna force it into your mouth mentality.
ABA. ABA.
ABA.
Interesting.
So, question on that. So, do you think that giving praise like that for the small task, do you think it's a detriment in the long run?
Nah.
Because in the real world, it's not going to happen.
I don't think it's a detriment in the long run, because a 1-year-old is still the 1-year-old. We can't treat a 1-year-old like a 17-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And you want that kid to have that optimistic mentality, because like you said, it's a detriment in the real world, because in the real world we focus on negatives just as much as we focus on the positive.
But it's not saying she's going to be still doing the same thing.
Right. So you're saying it's age appropriate.
Yeah, it's age appropriate.
Yeah.
It's age appropriate, and then from just what I see from third person, I feel like it breeds, like it provides the like foundation for the I can do anything mentality. Like even if I'm having a hard time, I have the support to where I can do anything type. And it takes a lot out of it takes a lot for me to adapt to, because that's not how I was. It's not how I was raised at all. It's not how she was raised at all. But she's independent enough to like, I'm gonna raise my kid how I want to raise them, and it's like me just falling in line, because I can support the movement. Like I'm all for the positive energy. And then again, like it takes a lot off my day. Like if I'm thinking about, damn, I really just spent 8 hours at work. I don't want to go back. Well, now I got my son over here smiling, big wide grin because he ate some broccoli, and like that's just that's a win in itself, rather than just focusing on what you didn't get to do with your day. So,
Right.
Could it be that you guys are looking at it more on like on a macro level, as far as a person in their everyday life?
You mean
that's
micro?
Micro, yeah,
I knew you were going to say. So
micro.
you're saying like on a global scale, like,
Yeah.
Do you think society's headed in the right direction, the wrong direction, that type of thing?
Yes.
we've already discussed this though, because we discussed a long time ago that change on a global scale isn't possible without change on the micro scale. It starts from the people. It starts from the people, like the grassroots, and then it channels up north. It's not change that can start with the celebrities or your business owners or just having third, and then trickle down, because not everybody's going to listen. The people who want to be like the business owner might listen, but the people who are going through everyday struggle not going to listen.
Okay.
And to answer your macro question, you need to be cognizant and aware of everything that's going bad, but you should focus on what you're doing good and keep doing it. Excel at it. But then, so I was using the same analogy when I looked at it from a personal level too. So have you ever heard it's an anecdote where they were saying how our education system is designed to evaluate fish on their ability to climb, and
I never heard of that.
Yeah, fish on the ability to climb, and then like birds on the ability to swim.
Yeah.
So it's saying that we're funneling everybody and judging them on the same criteria, versus letting people excel at what they do naturally. So by focusing on that, we're able to become better versions of ourselves, versus trying to just fit ourselves into this narrow definition of what we're supposed to be.
Hold up. To answer your question on like the macro level, easiest thing you can look at is like the Paris Accord, and think about how people on the macro level who have the power are trying to put forward legislation, even though it's not binding, but they're trying to put forth legislation to reduce carbon emission. And you sit here and think about, like, you and I, that's not on the forefront of our mind. Like, global warming, even though it's a threat, isn't on the forefront of your mind. But let a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 7-year-old, like, come up to you and say something about littering, you're actually going to listen.
Right.
Because it's coming from them. It's not coming from somebody older than us or somebody same age. Because, as we all know, at this age, you're not willing to listen to somebody same age because you feel like you know just as much as they do, or you feel like, you know, you can stand on your own 2 feet. But when, for whatever reason, when that minor, that 5-year-old, that 7-year-old comes up to you and says something to like real world related, it sticks because it's like, oh, how do you know so much about it? Like you're like, it's almost like the challenge to where like, how dare that kid know more than me? Now then like it's either that challenge or it's like, well, damn, like she cares, and I need to take the initiative because I care. And I want her to have the same, him or her kid, whatever. In my head, it was some little girl walking up to their dad and like saying, "Don't pick that up, like don't litter." And then the dad actually like going off to his friends and realizing, "Oh well, I've always learned littering not from what our politicians say, but from what my daughter says, like type thing. Like you're more inclined to listen to those next to you rather than those who you'll never meet in your lifetime."
It's kind of shame in that example too, because you think about it as, oh, this 5-year-old child knows better than me.
Yeah.
So maybe I should be doing better.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I meant by the challenge thing. Like the 5-year-old, no, that's what I just then. Like obviously you shouldn't feel challenged by like a 5-year-old's intellect, but at the same time it should be commendable that they do know that.
But you did mention global warming. But how I was looking at it was when you say the question, would things get better or worse if humans focus on what was going well rather than what was going wrong? I would say like things would get better as far as individually, as far as what you guys are saying, because they would be focused on more of the good things, because it's more of a macro level, because you're focusing on more of the good things in life rather than the bad things. Whether as far as global warming, you're more focused on your children growing up and everything like that. That's how I was looking at it. Well, collectively though, it's not the same issue, because if you look at things like global warming, if we're focused on more of the good things, then things like global warming, we're not focused on, that we just pass that by, then we could be dead in.
So you're saying things that require a large scale effort, they get neglected if we take that approach to the macro level. That's what you're saying.
If you take the approach of not focusing on, not really neglected, but if we approaching this question like this, I would say, if you're approaching it like that, I would say, you kind of getting neglected. If you're focusing more on the good, because global warming is a bad thing, so that's how I was looking at it. Makes sense.
It does.
It does.
I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I don't agree either, because how I'm dissecting it is, we're looking at the good. Like we're realizing that if we make the change based off of what
maybe we have to re-identify like rearrange the question a little bit, because maybe it's focus, because we think focus like we're focused on this and not worried about that at all.
Right, because we're looking at the way you're describing it is binary, but we're kind of saying like a combination. Like
I was about to make that clear too.
Doing that, but you also in the background, like on the back, when you're cooking, you have your main dish on the front. But you can't let the mashed potatoes burn on the back burner, You don't just neglect them and have a pot full of crumbs.
Not the mashed potatoes.
Not the mashed potatoes.
But yeah, that's how I was looking at it as far as like the focus. But
you clarified it while you was looking at it that way and where the disconnect was.
I gotcha. But yeah, question though, if the majority of people in the world focus on like the bad problems with that, and you feel that will encourage people to make things better in the world? Do you feel
it will wear away at you?
You think it will wear away at you?
Yeah,
without progress. I feel that only happen if it's without progress. Whether you just sitting there thinking about
even if you're making progress, you look at some career paths such as detectives and nurses and people who are involved in the loss of life. After a while, it affects them. Like they just see so much death and turmoil and things like that. And it's a detriment. Not saying that they can't perform their jobs or anything like that, but it takes a specific kind of person to be able to do that and come out unscathed on the other side without being changed. So like by you dealing with it, just looking at that negative problem that you're trying to tackle, it's going to change your perspective. It's going to alter you a little bit.
The easiest way you can look at it is look at the politics. Like me, I was an avid lover of politics. And Trump came into office, and there was just so much negative associated with politics, because it's always established that politicians are really good liars. But Trump, on the other hand, is like a whole new level of bad. And it's like the constant thing is on what he's doing wrong. Like I kind of fell out of love with the idea of politics, because it's just like, well, damn, every time I turn on CNN, they're talking about what he's doing wrong, and like I just don't have the energy for it. Mm-hmm. Like there's enough going on in my own personal life to where I need to sit here and watch what's going wrong within, arguably the most, powerful position in the entire world. Like if you focus on the negative, then it's really like if people in power are focusing on the negative, then it's just like, damn, like we're really messing up. And if everybody has that damn we're really messing up attitude, then when it's time to spark change, it's gonna be like little air horns, like little air horn that's almost out of air, and it's just gonna be like a little pew, and then it's done, it's gone.
I gotcha. But so you say things will get better. You say things will get better too, right? Basically,
If they focus on the good, yes. Prioritize probably a better word.
Well, because you still gotta focus on the bad. If you're looking at the bad, then it allows
yeah, just a balance. I guess
reflection on what you could have done better. If you have the like ability to do that, and not get discouraged.
Yeah, try to keep the balance. I'll look at it basically. But is there anything else you guys want to go as far as this topic?
No.
Cool.
But I think you slick though, because you didn't answer.
I did answer.
I think you just broke it down for us. I don't think. Did you get her answer?
No.
Yeah, you just broke it down.
I could have sworn I just said that. I would say that individually, yeah, things will get better.
It was more so you were offering a concession of what we had kind of said, but you didn't really allow us to see your thought process.
No, I said that individually, it would get better, but as far as collectively, as everybody as a whole, it wouldn't get better. I feel it wouldn't get better because we're not focused on the bigger parts, basically the major problems. We just focus on the everyday life, or the things in everyday life, like as far as our kids and our bills and everything like that. Y'all didn't hear that?
No, I didn't hear that at all. I think you just said that here.
I heard bits and pieces, but as far as one, coherent thought and one answer,
I said that.
We'll watch it back and we'll see.
But yeah, what do you guys think though? Would things get better or worse if humans focus on what was going well rather than what's going wrong? What do you guys focus on? Do you guys focus on the things that's going wrong? Do you guys focus on the things that's going right? Let us know. Comment below, okay? The next question is going to be, why is it that people have trouble separating someone's body of work from their actions when a prominent figure is found guilty of a crime? So this is an interesting question. So does anybody want to take this?
I'll take this. Okay. So this is actually a very complex problem that's been bothering me for a number of years, and I was able to break it down to a few major points. So to paraphrase what Matt said on episode 8, he was saying that he believes that people are neither good or bad. We're a mixture of both. We have people who we do things. They could be either good or bad. So it comes down to when we hold our leaders and the people who we look up to, we hold them to a higher standard across domains. So not just in regards to what they do, but we just automatically predicate perfection to that person. So the danger of doing that is we rob them of the ability to be human, which is to learn from your mistakes. So we see them as this perfect being who can do no wrong, and once they do, we crucify them. We're not looking at them as a person that they really are. We're taking somebody that's really complex, all multifaceted, and compressing them. And then once you do that, you're unable to separate their work from them because they're not human anymore.
Because we look at them on a different level, is what you're saying. I don't want to say I would disagree with that, but I would say I was looking at it more as about just reputation. As far as if a person's reputation is sullied, then they're going to automatically just look at the person's artwork too, as far as their reputation. Not in most cases, not every case, but in most cases, I feel it's just about reputation as far as why people separate it. Like, oh, he did that. Like, oh no, yeah, I don't want to deal with him. And then like, do I really want to listen to this music? If someone look at me, listen to this music too. I mean, they're gonna be like, oh, you listen to him? I mean, he was just wasn't even a crime. What's going on? Like, so I think it's just it's like reputation. That's how I was looking at it.
What contributes to that is binary conditioning. So we're taught to just we see everyone just thinking that it's either this or that. Like the gray is not really expressed. And then also, I believe pandering has a big deal to do with it. So people wanting to be championed by that community. So somebody does something to offend the black community or women or gays or something like that. And so they might not act, they're vocal on the behalf of that party or that group, the oppressed group or the offended group, but for their own personal agenda. So they're doing that to gain support. So when they do that, they're so quick to go so far right, so far left to demonize that person who's done the offending. So if this person done this and it's a bad action, therefore that they're bad, therefore everything that they've done is bad, which is really piss poor deductive reasoning.
Okay.
I can't disagree with anything he said. I feel like I don't have this personal issue, so I don't see why people have the problem. I think that a few points that I can relate to with Bryan is that, you know, when people reach a certain level of stardom, there is no longer like the human aspect. People look at them literally as like on a different level, like on a different, you know, on a different playing field in life.
And that's why we can't separate their work from their crime.
Because you know them as only that musician. You know them as that artist.
Like when you reach to that level and you see the money that comes with it, you see the life that comes with it.
I don't feel that. I'm not saying I disagree. I just feel that's not what people feel. That's not how people look at it.
How do people look at it?
I just feel people look at it as more.
I think you're giving people too much credit then.
Entirely too much credit.
Because think about it. We all have these dream lives. We all have like these aspirations of what we want that is actually not attainable.
I just think it's like a follower thing. Like it's a reputation follower thing. Like where as far as
you don't think any of that stuff. You don't think any of the materialistic stuff plays a factor.
As far as what do you mean?
Like what they have. Like they have the nice house. They have the nice car. Everything that they have lines up with what you like. In addition to the music. Because if you just like the music, then you should be able to separate the two. But if you actually like what that person portrays, not even looking at the bad, like person has good music, then they drive the car you like, then they live in the house you like, then they're dating the girl you like or the guy you like. They're around their family, so it portrays this life that you like.
You assign attributes to that person that you don't even know.
Exactly, and then that's where this aura of perfection comes in, which is what he was talking about. And I'm just trying to break it down in the sense of like people see in that artist what they would want for themselves, and then when it comes into like this, you know, the person does wrong, and it's like, oh, I would never do that. Well, you don't know what you would do if you weren't in that situation. Like a lot of people, whenever like when the Chris Brown thing came out about him and Rihanna, like everybody was going for Chris Brown's neck. Nobody went for Rihanna
when he was 17.
Yeah, like. You had this babyface image of Chris Brown. You couldn't believe that he could do something wrong like that. And because it happened, everybody delivered the damn the hammer. Is it the gall? What's it called?
Gauntlet. The guillotine.
Well, no, I'm not talking about beef. I'm talking about the judge.
Gavel.
I was like, God damn, they ain't killed him. I was like, what?
That's essentially what they're doing.
Yeah, like that's just my perception. Like. I'm not trying to give people too much credit because I know how much. I'm not. I feel you are. I think you feel you're trying to give you.
I feel you.
No, sir. I feel like we're on the same page, and you're giving people too much credit.
So I want to ask you, how is he giving? We share the viewpoint.
Yeah.
So how are we giving people too much credit?
No, I just feel the way he was explaining, he's giving too much credit. But I wanted to go back to the reputation part because I hear what you're saying, but I just feel people are. I don't feel I'm giving people too much credit when I'm saying they're just being followers. As far as they're just looking at them and just being like, oh, their reputation is sullied. They're on news. Their reputation is sullied. Like, I mean, I basically can't be associated with this person anymore. Basically, I can't be associated with what they do, as far as what their body work, what they do as far as their artwork, as far as their filmmaking or whatever like that. That's how I was looking at it. But I understand what you guys are coming from. But I feel you guys. I don't know. How do you think I'm giving too much credit?
I understand what you're saying, but you're saying that people, they see the best.
I think you're looking at the aftermath, or we're looking at what leads up to it, like what people see in that person before they do what's wrong. Because it just sounds like you explained like somebody did something bad, and now you're looking at everything you can't associate with it. Where we're looking at what led up to them falling for that person to begin with, and then something happening. Like you're looking at the aftermath, where we're looking at what is going on in the person's mind before that incident even happens. Okay. Trying to explain why people even look at that person like that to begin with.
As a prominent figure.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense. But so are you saying that people's, of course, I guess you guys agree that the body of work should not be separated from the actual person. Well, it should be separated from the actual person, right? Okay. So, like in the case as far as a football player is accused of rape or something like that, are you saying that people.
We're not gonna do football. It'd be better to do music because I don't follow football.
Well, first off, you said he was accused. You didn't say he did it.
Charged.
That means nothing until you're proven guilty.
Okay.
Man, I'm not gonna be that solid. We can do football.
But so if he was found guilty, I mean, I kind of feel you did the same thing with R. Kelly. He was kind of found guilty, but okay, football. He found guilty. He's found guilty. Should people stop liking him as a football player?
You can still acknowledge the fact he was a good player and not support him because of that.
What do you think?
You can't deny somebody's talent.
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, I'm not saying deny his talent. Like, oh, he ain't
He's a trash.
Man, he was never really good anyway. So,
yeah, you can't do that.
Like, okay, as far as the case of Kareem Hunt, he was. I don't know if you guys know about Kareem Hunt. He was a football player for the Kansas City Chiefs, and he was on videotape, basically kicking and punching a girl in a hotel or something.
Okay,
like that.
I did see that. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and he was released from the team. So I was like, and he's a good running back. So I was wondering, what do you think? And he looks guilty. So I'm just
he looks
kind of good from that tape. He looks like he actually did it. So I'm just
yeah, definitely.
Because you said he's accused of rape. I was like, he looked like he did it. Don't worry.
That's different because this is known that he did it.
Still waiting for Desmond's. He's pondering though. So
The reason why I said football, I didn't want to talk about football, is because
we can go to the R. Kelly thing too.
I don't give a damn about R. Kelly. I can actually separate I can separate R. Kelly's work from the person to an extent, because when you actually like listen to his music, it's really good music. But then when you see the motives behind the music,
subjective as far as him, you saying his music is really good music. That's
Yeah.
subjective. Keep going though.
like it,
Because everybody don't think that his music is good.
like
So keep going.
if you strip away all the allegations and what he's done and hasn't done, the music is really good. But then when you think about it, and it's like, it seems like you're ready, and then it's like, oh well, he was dating Aaliyah at the time. Aaliyah was a minor. This nigga is disgusting. That's when you can start separating the two. Like when you actually see like the bad that he was doing directly ties into the work that he was making.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I agree with that. But I'm saying, like, how do you know all of his songs aren't related to that? How do you know he hasn't been like?
That's what I'm saying. Like when you, that's why I said,
because all the songs are sexual songs. Key in ignition. How do you know he wasn't thinking about sex with a minor when he was writing that song?
he could have been.
But he wasn't explicit.
He wasn't. Like when he says you may be young but you're ready. Like come on, bro. That's even like come on. That was a Key Sweat line, by the way. That won't argue. like a lot of this stuff is inexplicable. Like like as a 27-year-old dating like a 26-year-old, the lines are fire. But when you actually tie it to R. Kelly and what his motives were when he was making the song or what he was living at the time, it's disgusting. So then I feel like that's
so why can't you include that though?
What do you mean? Why
those motives as far as what if
why I don't like it anymore?
You're saying because not all the music is like that. That's what you're saying, right?
No, what I was there's a lot of like misconstrued. So I was saying you can separate the two until it gets to that point.
Okay.
So separating the two is acknowledging that a lot of R. Kelly's music is good, but when you look, man, that's why everything is getting misconstrued because you keep.
No, I'm not saying you got your own opinion about if the music is good or whatever. But I'm just saying.
I'm saying that. Okay. The music is good, but then when you actually start listening to the music and then you start tying the allegations in together, then you start saying here like, man, this shit is really disgusting. Then that's when the art and the person go hand in hand.
Okay.
And you can't separate them.
So what do you feel? Do you feel you should still? Do you agree with him?
Yeah.
Okay. So the
reason why I couldn't say the Kareem Hunt thing is because like something has to be wrong with you mentally to even play football at a professional level and want to be. Something has to be wrong with you, like
to even play football.
Like you have to.
I kind of think it's harsh.
The amount of joy you get from crack.
You think that's harsh?
No.
To start, to begin to play football.
To even like play football at a professional level, the amount of joy you get in cracking somebody, running somebody over, just proving that you're the alpha male, there has to be a lot of stuff going on mentally. And if you think about a lot of like pent up aggression that a lot of football players have, not being able to control how they release their anger is not that much of a surprise. Like there are
So
some very well balanced football players, but
would you say the same thing to people with boxing though? As far as you have to be
Combat
really,
sports.
you have to be really
no, because
UFC like
because
you have to
with
be-
that, we're learning how to fight. There's a lot of discipline that comes with that.
You don't think it's discipline to come in football?
Absolutely not. Like, bro,
Maybe
I don't see any discipline in that at all. Like, obviously, there has to be some discipline to be good at what you do, but in the sense of like how it, like, obviously, boxing, there is like, you need self defense. Like, there is some good in this, in like what originally started from it. But I can't find any good in football from you catching the ball and running from one end zone to the other. Like,
So is it ethical?
what?
Football.
Absolutely not.
It's just entertainment.
So
Look,
but it's okay because people choose to do it. Is that what you're telling me?
Let the record show that my man's fantasy football team name is Domestic Violence, CTE, and what's the third one? 'Cause in drugs, like,
Are you serious?
yes,
drugs.
he is grilling me right now, but he deep down.
No, I agree with you, but I agree with you. No, I'm just saying, like, where did this come from? Because
but when have you ever heard about me speak about football? There's reasons why I don't speak about
talk
football.
about it.
No, I've never like dived in.
One of our first podcasts.
yeah, we
We could talk about it, but it's one of those things where I don't
We talked
speak
about
about
CTE and everything, right? Remember?
I thought so.
Yeah.
Nah.
Where were you?
I was asleep.
You were.
I want to hear it.
I was 2 birds in one.
Guess so. He's smiling.
I want that Disinfusion breakdown. But no, like that's part of the reason. Like, I really don't watch football, and I really don't like pay that much attention to it for that reason in itself. Because there's a lot of like, it should be a lot of like alarming stuff for like somebody to just want to inflict that amount of damage not only on yourself but on another human being willingly. Willingly is the thing that gets me.
So are you trying to say like they're trying to get people hurt? Is that what you're trying to say?
Today's day and age, no, but there was a point. Like, we're not gonna lie. When I did watch football, the most exciting thing about seeing football was either say somebody get hit stick or somebody get in trouble.
Not to me, but I guess
I didn't enjoy none of that. Like, trying to figure out what the formation was.
Nah, I actually enjoyed it.
I hated that. Like, that's why I can enjoy actual like soccer because I'm like really into the technicalities of it. But like regular football, like American football.
So is football okay because people are choosing to do it?
Yeah. People are choosing to do it, but that might not. Like,
Coming from
acknowledging it.
athletes that are getting hit like this and are being extremely underpaid, especially compared to other
that's
sports,
their choice.
it's still.
That's their choice.
But do they really have a say in it, especially with the rules?
Do they have a say in playing
signed up
football?
No, I'm talking about as far as do they have a say in it. I think talking about as far as their choice as far as getting paid. That's what.
No. I was talking about their choice in actually.
Oh, okay. I was speaking more as far as getting paid.
Nah.
But okay. But what about as far as going back a little bit to the football thing? What if that profession actually correlates with?
And hold up, before you even go into that, the reason why I didn't want to get into the Kareem Hunt thing because a lot of stuff came out where they were saying that he actually reacted that way because she was calling him. There's a white woman calling him a nigga, and that's part of the reason why he reacted that way. That's why I didn't want to divulge right into that specific topic because it's going to open up a lot about how I really feel about football.
Okay, but I originally had the football rape thing topic first, but I just had Kareem Hunt because it was an example that I knew about. But I got you. But yeah, I forgot the question I was gonna ask though.
Yeah, fuck it.
Nah, man. I wanted to get into that.
Nah, because you out here trying to put me on the spot when you low key like, even though our rationale isn't the same, when you get down to what we really feel about it, it is the same.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking though, as far as what if their power actually? What if his job actually correlates with him? So, like, say for instance, if a football player was found guilty of running a prostitution ring or something like that, and of course people were like, I shouldn't stop liking him as a football player because he has nothing to do with his work, right?
Yeah.
What if the money that he was using as a football player was used to fund this enterprise, this illegal enterprise, this unethical enterprise? Is that still? So we still stop liking him as a football player? Like, oh, well, he was using that money for bad. Like, why would I? So
I still see that separate.
You still see that separate? Interesting. What do you think?
He's using money he made playing football
to fund his legal,
a prostitution ring.
Like say for instance, R. Kelly was using the money he got from his platinum CDs and was funding all of the extra pays that he was doing.
I think you're trying to divulge into the conversation more than I'm willing to go. I'm not willing to go that deep into it.
And what you're saying right now is getting away from the initial question of the artwork.
Yeah. Because we can get into that topic, but it's gonna result in a lot of pondering and like really trying to put myself in shoes that don't fit. Like I can't speak on what somebody who has money does with their money because I can't guarantee you that I'd be an angel if I had money. So I can't speak on what somebody does with their money, even though there's a lot of people.
I was kind of looking at it as far as the power aspect, as far as.
Well, the thing that I always discount with a lot of athletes today is a lot of athletes are given shit tons of money and they came from nothing. They don't have like their closest like thing to control is what their advisors tell them. So you can't expect people who like grew up in the hood seeing prostitution, seeing how much money it brings in, or seeing gangs and guns and see like how enjoyable that lifestyle was to like just forget about 18 years of their lives once they turn pro. Like you expect that money to change them, and really that's just a part of who it is. Like
that's kind of the viewpoint I look at as far as football being unethical. As far as you guys are paying. It's not they get underpaid. They're not being paid that much money as far as, and plus, most of these people had nothing before they had football. Yeah. So if you're giving all these people money, they're more than likely not going to know how to do with it, know what to do with it, and they're going to be reckless or whatever.
So I'm actually going to keep siding with Bryan because R. Kelly's issues didn't arise once he got money. There were issues that was there before he ever got money. Same thing with football players. The issues was there before they ever had money. They just now have money to put those thoughts into material like actions.
You think so?
Absolutely. Both.
Not always. You think always?
You think people sit around with money and they think, let me run a prostitution ring. I'm bored.
No, I'm not.
That's what it sounds like.
That would be bad. But no, I understand what you're talking about.
A kingpin?
That's why I can understand Bryan. Like at the end of the day, wrong is wrong. But I think people's issue is they are assuming that wrong happens once they get money, not realizing that was a part of the person from day.
It's probably just more looked at because they have money.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Cool.
And that comes from us making idealized caricatures of that person.
What do you mean, exactly?
You don't see him as human.
Not to say that, I use the Chris Brown example, not to say that he was, beating on women before he ever got into music, but like shit happens. Like there is a possibility that there is a possibility that what do you call that? The pedophilia was a result of money. There's a possibility, and then if it's that, then you have to put the two together. But I think at the same time, like it's really I hate saying case by case because really it's one of those things to where it shouldn't have to be broken down. But because we like to look at all the intricacies in society, we have to break it down. And that's just how I'm gonna go with it.
Gotcha. But I want to throw another example as far as the Jussie Smollett situation.
This is the first time I've seen y'all since that came out.
Yeah. Because
this is a topic.
because of what happened. It was a topic. I deleted it because it was supposed to be last week.
But it's no longer like really pertinent.
Yeah,
it's kind of like blown over almost.
But should that affect his acting career?
He was acting, wasn't he?
No, as far as because they're cutting episodes. As far as like, oh no, we're gonna cutting episodes that he was already in. Yeah, that he was already in and stuff like that. They're cutting not cutting episodes. They're cutting him out of the episodes, basically.
Cutting him out of new ones.
Yeah, new ones.
Well, he did. He, from what my understanding is, he was doing that to further his career. So that's kind of, they're in the same realm. Versus saying he was doing something that was completely unrelated.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's another thing to where he need help.
Also, did you guys hear?
You think he needs help because of that?
Yeah, like
what if he's just a product of society? I mean, he knows society. The victim gets all of the cachet. I mean, especially if you getting messed up by Trump, people are definitely gonna attend to you. Be like, oh, You got messed up by Trump voters? Oh yeah, we feel you, bro. We feel you, bro. You want to raise? We got you. But I'm sorry.
Did you see the Dr. Phil and Joe Rogan? Well, you don't listen to Joe Rogan, do you?
Not really.
So him and Dr. Phil, they were on there discussing it, and he talked about like the victim complex, and people do things like that for XYZ reasons, and he broke it down pretty well. But the whole idea behind him doing that, they said that may have not been the first issue. So there was allegedly, I didn't actually verify, I just listened to it not too long before you guys got here, but there was a letter that was mailed that he received. Did you hear anything about that?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Okay, so could you tell us more about that?
As far as about the letter he received?
Yeah, there was a letter prior to the incident.
Yeah, if we're talking about the same thing, I'm pretty sure it was like a letter sent to his office or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was in Chicago. Yeah, sent to his office in Chicago. It was like a hate mail letter from like, I guess, a Trump reporter. It was like saying some racial slurs in the letter. Is that what we're talking about? The same letter? Okay, yeah. They're actually talking about that letter. But I was heard that he sent it to himself, though. So
that was part of his... So it's a multi-tier plan.
Yeah, that you didn't hear that? You didn't hear that?
Well, I know that was a speculation. I didn't know that was
confirmed
or...
Yeah, I don't know if it's confirmed, but that's just... I heard that he sent it to himself. As far as the people that he actually paid to actually do it, one of them was actually... I think was actually...
Was an extra on the show. Yeah.
And... yeah.
He promised him acting classes or something like that.
Yeah, it was like dancing, something like that, or workout or something like that. But yeah, they said they didn't know anything about the letter though. So I think he sent it to himself or something as part of the gimmick. But
so in that case, them punishing him in accordance with his acting career, I felt that is appropriate because he did it to gain clout in that domain.
Gotcha.
I agree as well.
But you think it's something wrong with him? I mean,
that's
it could be a product of society, though. I mean,
that's not an issue.
You can't blame
like you said,
the
victim. You can't blame it on society. You can blame
a lot of people, experience things like that, but they don't go and fabricate and implicate other people in their crimes.
I mean, some people are crazier than others. I mean, it happens.
Can you blame on society?
Kind of. No, you can't. I'm saying.
Well, Joshua versus society. Of course, you would say that.
But yeah. Is anything else you guys wanna?
Just curious. So I was in the barbershop the other day, and so I was talking to my barber about the same situation, and I had just asked him out of curiosity because I just like to pick people's brains, and I had asked him about whether or not he thought that he should serve jail time, and he said no, because people have been lying for years. Specifically, he said women have been lying for years.
Interesting.
So what are you guys' thoughts on that? I disagreed with that, but I know that some people do share that viewpoint.
When he says woman, he means woman in general, white women.
I don't know,
black.
But
women?
I think he was thinking more along the lines within like rape allegations.
Okay, I kind of figured you was going there. But it's different between rape allegations as far as like, because at first of all, I think he was going as far as white women accusing black guys of rape or something like that. That's why I thought you was going in for a minute, but then you was talking about as him just women accusing guys of rape in general. Like, oh man, they wilding. Like I think he was talking about something like that. But I don't know which way he's going, so I can't.
I don't know either. But this is just what I speculated from what I was able to derive from what he said. But he was saying that just because the lying hasn't been enforced, so why start enforcing it now? And I disagree with that because then you can keep pushing it back just because we haven't been doing it. Then it's acceptable, and this opens up a whole other door because now other people see that there's no consequences for doing that. And then now what do we have?
Gotcha.
I've actually learned to stop listening to barbershop debates.
Say what?
I've actually learned to stop listening to barbershop debates.
Why is that?
It's a lot of toxic masculinity that flows in there. It's a lot of toxic behavior that goes on in the bar. Like, I stopped listening to barbershop debates around the time the Bill Cosby thing came out, and people were trying to defend him and explain everything, and I was just like, the reason he's going to jail is not for what you're saying. Like, they were trying to bring up old stuff from the 80s and 90s and saying that, oh, that's what everybody was doing. Mm-hmm. Well, Bill Cosby went to jail for the Andrea Constant thing, like, or however you say her last name, from 2004. Mm-hmm. He's not going to jail from, him drugging her and allegedly raping people in the 80s and 90s. He's going to jail for what happened in 2004. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of stuff that goes on in the barbershop, it's just people like talking to the side of their neck.
So you're saying?
I'm saying that conversation probably shouldn't happen in the barbershop.
It's a room for large misinformation.
Because one thing is like typically men in the barbershop, toxic masculinity, so they already view gay people a certain type of way, per se. Mm-hmm. Don't want to make that crass assumption for every male barber, but that's typically what I see. So, like, I don't want to, break down the barbershop debate, but just to nip it in the bud, like, I do feel like there should be consequences, but can I say jail time? I'm going to say no, because it's, like, petty offenses. Like, yeah, it creates a negative precedent, but at the same time, like, he's not a threat to society. He's a threat to society in the sense of, like, people are being overlooked who are actually dealing with issues, but he's not a threat to, like, the good of society that would constitute him needing to serve time behind bars. Like, he's not out here trying to finesse the IRS or the government, per se. Like, people who are protected by the laws. He's trying to finesse the film industry. If the film industry wants to sue him for it, then they could do it that way. But for him to be looked at, like, under criminal statutes for it, then that's a bit obsessive, because like the dude at the barbershop says, people lie. Mm-hmm. But I feel like it's not something that should be in criminal court. It's something that should be in civil court with Empire, Fox, whoever suing him for what he is doing. Fox should take a stand and take it into court rather than Chicago PD placing him behind bars because of it. Because if they really wanted to make an example out of it, then Fox would be the one leading the way, because he's trying to get more money from Fox. So I feel like that's one of those things where it goes, civil court needs to come into play rather than like criminal statutes.
Right. Well, backstepping for a second. The reason I do listen to some of these barbershop discussions is just to have a kind of like a finger on the pulse of seeing, because a lot of people share that viewpoint, and to see what a lot of people, because I may not necessarily agree with what they're saying, but I'm still curious to hear opposing viewpoints.
Yeah.
And I take interest in that. But so what he did also, well, Jussie Smollett specifically, what he did has cultural implications. So let's say in the future when something like this actually does happen, now the people who are opposed to that, they have a means to doubt, and they can say, oh, it's just like the Smollett kid who did that, and just completely discredit what actually happened. Yeah. So I feel like it's also a detriment. It's not without consequence.
All right.
The issue is bigger than him now at this point.
I was gonna ask, just like, do you guys think that kind of set? I guess black people were back.
Nah,
a little bit.
It didn't help, but I wouldn't say it.
You got jumped on, just like that Smollett boy, huh? That's right. Get out of here.
It's not like that yet.
I feel like if you're looking at me any different for what somebody that's not even relatable to me did, then that just
says a lot about you.
It says a lot about the person.
It's American love.
They probably already had bias towards you, prior to that, so they would have found another reason.
Just looking for reasons to justify it.
Yeah. But is there anything else you guys want to say on this topic?
No, sir.
All right, guys. But what do you guys think, though? Why do you think people have trouble separating somebody's body of work from their actions when a prominent figure is found guilty of a crime? Let us know. Comment below, okay? And what do you think about the topics we discussed? Jussie Smollett, R. Kelly. What do you guys think? Should their body of work be separated from their crime? Let us know, okay? But that's it for this week's show. As always, you can catch us every Thursday, right? Yeah, every Thursday at 3. Remember, tune in. We'll be there. I'm Joshua Freeman. To my left, I got Mr. Bryan Carey. To my right, I got Mr. Desmond Tillmon. I guess we see you guys next time, right? Peace.